Hello, YouTube. This is BUB'S Comics coming at you with Record Haul. So I'm going to be showing off the books that I got for Record Store Day. Let's see, make sure everything is functional. All right, looks like everything's working. So, all right, we're going to get to this haul real quick. I just wanted to show off this past Saturday, June 12th, was Record Store Day, commonly abbreviated. So says the margarita, commonly abbreviated as RSD, so Record Store Day. So basically, the way that works is that various record shops, if you remember, most of my subscribers will be familiar with Comic Book Day, if you will, or a Free Comic Book Day. And this is a lot the same way. Oh, look here. We already have some people in here. Chaos and Comics saying, hola. And I always pay attention to Record Store Day, never really go. You know, your mileage may vary when it goes to Record Store Days, are a lot like Free Comic Book Day in that some shops go all out and make it one of their biggest events of the year. And then other shops just have a small selection of stuff and they kind of half-ass it. So I was we went to two different shops. I took my son along. We had a real big time, a nice little you know, just the two of us, which doesn't get to happen too often. So it's kind of nice that we got to do a little road trip and hit up some good record shops. So the first one that we went to, hey, what's up, Harry Zlatos? A couple of music guys already popping in here, so we appreciate that, of course. So basically what happened was, one shop, which is in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is a place that I hunt for comics a lot as well. And this shop is called Great Escape. And so there's a few of them. There's one in Louisville, Kentucky. I know there's one in Nashville. And I think there might be one in like West Virginia or something. So they're in the area. And the way that it works is that the shop is a conglomerate of records, comics, and other type of media, so like movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever, even cassette tapes, 8 tracks. I mean, pretty much if it's any kind of tradable media, you can find it there. Harry's saying hey, and Chaos is saying I'll probably get the Earth Gang album. So what happens is that they have a selection of comics. They have a selection of records that are exclusive, just like Free Comic Book Day. They'll be exclusive to Record Store Day, and you can actually look that up, which is nice. You can go to recordstoreday.com or some version of that, and they'll tell you all the participating shops in your area. You put in your zip code or whatever, and they'll also tell you the records. Not necessarily that will be available at those shops because you don't know what they're going to order. But they are going to have a full list of all the records that you could potentially get if you're lucky enough to get to the shop on time. That's the other thing. The one that I went to in Bowling Green, they opened 2 hours early for this event, so that was really nice. Harry's saying, is that where you bought that turntable? No, I did not buy that turntable there. So I was on a hunt. I got that turntable on Amazon. So actually, my wife got it for me for Father's Day as an early Father's Day present, replacing a suitcase player that I had. And she wanted to get me something. That's something I wanted. So that's kind of how that works out. But I picked that up on Amazon. I picked it up on Amazon. It was like the last one they had of that color, of the black on black. But they probably have more. Usually it's silver on black if it looks a little different. And it's kind of a classic design turntable, their DJ style, you know, Victrola's play on that. It's not perfect as far as they go, but I was trying to get the best one I could get for under $150, and this one was spot on. It was like $129 or something like that, and it had all the features I was looking for at $129 with the upgraded stylus. So it sounds pretty good. I'm very, very pleased with it. And really is at the value level of about a $200 to $250 record player. So I'm very happy with that. Trying not to buy physical media or a lot less physical media. I'm sure of that. What kind of turntable did I get? I got a Victrola USB Pro 2000. So it's been out for maybe a year or so, I think. But Victrola, they put record players on the market and then they snatch them back. So you always have to be careful to get if you see something you like, pick it up, because they don't stay on the market for very long and then they kind of disappear and they roll out with another model. Spend too much on turntable. Yeah, it's super easy to spend too much on, in my opinion, too much on a turntable. When I was picking mine out, I had very specific things I was looking for. I wanted a counterweight to make sure that I could balance the needle properly. I wanted anti-skate to make sure that the tone arm doesn't slide across the whole record and damage it or whatever, and that it'd be very balanced. And then I also wanted to get something that had a dust cover built in. So the acrylic dust cover, I wanted that. I also wanted something that had a strobe and quartz lock so that I could manipulate the speed of the record as I wanted to, and that had that. I also wanted something that had RCA out so I could hook up analog speakers to it, and also something that had Bluetooth out so I could stream it if I wanted to my computer speakers, which are kind of bigger and have more bass. So when I'm playing games or something, I'd be listening to my own vinyl coming at me this way. So kind of an odd request, but I wanted that too. And that's actually harder to get because most audiophiles, so those are basically audio nerds, right? People who really go crazy over the sound of things. They don't really like Bluetooth out because then the signal gets compressed and then gets opened back up again. And that kind of defeats the purpose of the superior sound of analog, so they say. So the Bluetooth out is kind of harder to find on higher end models. Those are usually for just lower end models of people who aren't that concerned about the audio quality. But I wanted to have that. I wanted to have that feature. And then, of course, it's got a nice little Victrola on the front that lights up, and it's got lots of LEDs going on, and that's just vanity there. I just like the way that looks. All right. Sorry about that big rant. What's going on, Count Von Strange? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I'm really happy, and I know how you are. You're real picky about your music, so I'm sure that the more you spend, the happier you're going to be usually. And check the reviews. And when you hear someone talking like you talk, listen to what they have to say. That's usually how I go. I spent way too much Count Von Strange also on his turntables and speakers. Count Von Strange, the haul I'm going to show today was from Great Escape in Bowling Green. I know you have one in Nashville and in and around the area. It can be used for surround sound too, though. That helps justify it. So that makes sense. So I have a surround sound system in the living room, and I have a surround sound system for my gaming computer or my gaming laptop, but I didn't really need a surround sound system for that, and I can Bluetooth it to the other twos, which is nice. But for that, I just went with a 2.1 system. So up above it right there is a wood enclosed speaker with a subwoofer port in the back and then just two tweeters in the front. So it's a very simple setup, but it sounds very rich and it sounds very authentic. Nice kind of live sound to it. I really like it. And that's actually a speaker made by Polaroid. And it's also Bluetooth, so I can Bluetooth something to it if I want to. But that's hardwired, and the wires are running behind that poster that I've got. So pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So Bluetooth does not belong in turntables. See? That's what Scarpad's saying. So, and he's a real big media buff, so you got to listen to what he says. And that's why it's important to a lot of people that it doesn't need to be there. So when the price goes up in turntables and you're really going after those people who are willing to spend $400 or $500 on a turntable, the Bluetooth option just disappears because most people don't care about it at that level. You're trying to get the purest analog sound you can get. And that's fine. I already have that, but I just like to have options. And if I'm going to pay a bunch of money, give me all the options, Didn't know it record store day. So there's going to be another one. There's one in June and July, I think. So that's why I posted here June, because I believe there's going to be another one, and they're giving out separate exclusives for those. So let's get to some of these records. Keep the questions and comments rolling in, though. I'm loving it. This first record was not a store exclusive, but the reason I picked it up was because it was a record I was wanting. And this shop was the only one that I saw. I follow them on social media. I saw that on Instagram they posted not Instagram, on Facebook, they posted that they had this one. I was like, holy cow, I need that. So it is the Black Keys. And let's see if we can even say what the name of that album is. Delta Cream by the Black Keys. So I wanted this album. I like the Black Keys. And really, any album by the Black Keys is going to be good enough for me. It's actually a double LP set, so it has 2 discs. I was kind of disappointed in how boring this was. Like, it was very plain. Sometimes they're real pretty. And I paid $30 for it, $29.99, but they had other copies at other stores for just $26.99. But this is the exclusive colored vinyl, and I pick up colored vinyl. And the reason that I do that is not just because I enjoy the look of it on the turntable, but because I have to set hard limits and goals for myself or I go crazy. Like I have, like most of you probably have a problem with collecting, and it can get out of hand. So when I start a new collection or when I'm trying to curtail my collecting, then I set limits for myself along the way and kind of hard rules that I only break under very special occasions. And the reason for that is that keeps my collection growing slower and keeps it overall smaller and more manageable for me. So I'm only picking up colored vinyls, commemorative edition type things, vinyl records that have special meaning to me for some reason, but not like every album I ever loved and every album I used to own, trying to reclaim it in vinyl. That's not what this is about. This is about getting collectible items and enjoying them. And I am opening them and listening to them and enjoying the hobby of listening and, setting it up. So good stuff. Let's see. But we'll drop Bluetooth turntable in the future. Maybe so. Let's see. What brand is my microphone that I'm speaking in right now? It's blue. It's a blue Nessie. That's what it's called. It's called Nessie because it looks like a Loch Ness monster. I guess the neck of a Loch Ness monster. And I like it. I got it because I don't really have anything to attach an extendable arm for a microphone and a pop filter like a lot of people have. And they'll connect it to like a desk. I'm kind of alcoved here, so I didn't really have a place for that. So I got this because it has a built-in shock mount. It has a volume control built onto it, and it has a mute button built onto it, and it's adjusted at a good height to reach me. So that's why I picked this one, and it was affordable. Let's see. I like the Black Keys. People are surprised I like them. I don't know why that. I mean, they're a little gimmicky. I mean, the idea is that they record everything on authentic equipment, vintage equipment. And so it has that vintage sound. I'm sure there's a little bit of post-production put in there. It's recorded live as a band as opposed to a producer putting it all together. So I think that those are things that Chris at Chaos and Comics would appreciate. So it doesn't surprise me he would like that. It may be the genre of music is a little bit different than what we would expect you to go for. But it's still, because of the production quality involved and the authentic nature of it, I would think it's something that you actually would like. Let's go on a superior hero review. I do that every time. Count Von Strange. I bought most of my collection used. New is nice, but used is cheaper usually, and that's just as good. That's very true. It's funny that when you listen to a lot of people right now when they talk about vinyl records, they're always talking about stuff getting destroyed. They love to scare you. This will destroy your records. This will destroy everything's, doom and gloom. If you look at it askew, it's going to catch fire. That they act like, but I'm telling you, you can pick up a record that's 30 years old, dust it off and play it. And it sounds fantastic. And you can't tell me all these people were just sitting around halfway destroying records their whole lives. So, I take it with a little grain of salt that those people want to keep nice things nice, and I appreciate that. But used vinyl is usually, you can see if it's scratched. Every now and then you'll get one that skips a track or so, but for the most part, used is pretty good. Now, my parents have a rather large used vinyl collection that someday should default to me. So because of that, I'm not looking to pick up a lot of used vinyl because I'm probably going to end up with a lot. That being said, there's a ton in this haul. So So sorry about that. Vintage only. Yes, vinyl is too expensive. That's true. Just took the CD and put it in a vinyl record. Yep. I mean, that's true. Let's see. Any colored vinyl by Hot Chocolate. I don't. Not today. Nope. Let's see. One way now to make sure you're buying records that are mastered for vinyl. Too much of the direct bad ports. So that's kind of what Scarpad was talking about. That's very true. So when you pick one up, you can look, it'll say who it's mastered by. And as you get more familiar with the quality of those productions, you can learn to trust certain names and certain companies that did the remastering or the mastering. Sometimes you'll see from original masters, from original analog tapes. There's all kinds of stuff like that. But when you play it, you can hear if it's kind of a cheap, CD quality, ported over to vinyl. You can kind of hear the difference. As you play your records once a year, they'll be just fine. Hey, you got to have plenty of records for that. All right, Knights of Old's like, what do you buy? What did you buy? If they have Beatles albums, you better be checking for the Butcher's cover. Yeah, that's true. So that Butcher's cover is very rare. They yanked it out of release. My son is on the hunt for that. He's a big Beatles fan, and he went with me and picked up a bunch of Beatles 45s. All right, so we picked up the Black Keys Delta Cream. This was not an exclusive, but I wanted to show you anyway. And also, like I said, picking up all these colored vinyls. So this one was clear with, usually they call that like a black marble or a black splatter. This one didn't exactly say which it was. It just said exclusive colored. So I kind of had to invent the color myself. So that's what I did. So loving that. It kind of disappears because I have a black slip mat on my turntable. So it kind of disappears in the turntable, but still looks pretty cool when you're picking it up. And if you get close enough to it, you can see that it's there. Let's see. It says, nowadays, I just asked the band on Facebook how the vinyl are mastered. That's smart. That's actually really, if you could, and a lot of times someone else will answer for you too, I'm sure, even if you don't get the band to speak back to you. What's your Grail vinyl? I actually already own one of my three Grail vinyls. I'm a big fan of Jeff Lynne, ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, and my Grail vinyl are three parts. It's Time by ELO, which I own, on a clear 180 gram mastered vinyl. It was limited edition to 5,000, and I have one. Not number one, but they're numbered, which is cool. Another one is El Dorado also by ELO, and then the third one is Zoom, which was a Jeff Lynne only one, Jeff Lynne's ELO, and that was super limited. And they're out there with like $700-800, and I'm not spending that much. I would probably spend up to $100 for one of those, and I did for one. But the other one I haven't pulled the trigger on, and there's a couple more I'd probably pick up along the way. So mine is Don Knotts Sings the Blues box set. Is that a real thing? Holy cow! The incredible Mr. Limpet going Blue Note on us. I had no idea. My will be a signed Led Zeppelin. Oh, I'm not even thinking about signed stuff. Yeah. I mean, that's just too much. All right. So this was a Record Store Day exclusive. This is the Rolling Stones. And this was a Bigger Bang Live. So they put out an album called A Bigger Bang, and it was a live recording. And so this one has, of course, an A side and an AA side, which is the B side. And let's see. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So that's a straight up clear vinyl. Loving the tongue on there. That is so awesome. I love that. And it looks killer. Check out my Instagram page. I posted this today. It looks so good. I just love it. So let's see. Put this back in there. This one's really good. The album itself's okay. I spent $18 for this. So it seemed like the one that I went to, because I went to the other shop afterwards. The other shop had it was $2 cheaper for everything. So, but I know that this shop tends to be expensive, but it's okay because they have a pretty good selection of used vinyl as well. So picked this up, super pleased with it, very happy with this one. Of course, the Black Keys album was awesome. If you like the Black Keys, you'll pretty much like anything that they have. So, yes, let's see what we got. Chaos, I'll sell your 181 for your ELO album. I could. I'd have plenty of money left over, probably. But yeah, I'm not trading grails for grails. Whole point is the grail is to get it and keep it, right? Hunted Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers vinyl when my daughter was born, and she loved them all. That is awesome. Love to hear stuff like that. Looks like a clear dinner plate. Yes, it does. My girl is the first pressing Black Sabbath debut album. I got to get one. Very cool. So first pressings, some people really care that it's a first pressing. So that's the thing, you know. And also the idea is that the same master was used multiple times, and a lot of them were on tape. So every time it got mastered off the tape, it will lose a little bit of quality. So a first pressing can have the best quality. And actually, Knights of Old will probably be the first one to tell you that the Japanese pressings are also highly sought after because of their mastering standards off the originals. So those are another thing. He likes to shop a lot of Japanese stuff. So yeah, Mad. Yep, Mad World by Jack Davis. Absolutely great stuff. How many are old enough to remember records that came on the back of cereal? I have one of those. I have a Lucky Charms and not Lucky Charms, Frankenberry and Count Chocula that came off a back of cereal box. So I have that. I'm going to record that and play it around Halloween this year for a Halloween vinyl video. As long as I've ever been in a channel without seeing cleavage. We're going to fix that. Male or female cleavage, he wants to know, because Scarbat can hop on here and he can give you a little showing. First pressing is like a first print. That's right. Very true. I have a lot of Japanese albums, but I never knew that, bub. See? There you go. Yes, the Japanese albums are considered one of the finest generally pressings, if other than a first print, because they were sent over there and they were pressed over there, and their pressing standards from the beginning have been fantastic, and up to higher quality standards to the original. So this is the closest to some of them. Of course, not everything's equal, but it is vinyl lore that the Japanese album pressings are as close as you can get to the originals. Here you go, Chaos. I hate that for you. This one's Pinup Girls. Not easy to get, although she doesn't look like she's playing too hard to get. So check that out. Love the art on this. This was another Record Store Day exclusive. I paid $18.99 for this, and I was super happy because I got art, you know, and the other ones didn't really have too much art. The Black Keys always does some kind of picture. It's okay. It goes with the theme, but I don't really dig it for art. Rolling Stones, just a tongue. I mean, how many times have they done that? Still cool, but still. But this was some real art, so I was very pleased with that. And on the back, it shows you some of the pinup girls. You guys are going to laugh your asses off at some of these. So, whoa, look out. Did you see that? Holy cow, she come right after me. So here's some of those pinups. You get a close-up of those. Some of them you probably won't recognize. There's Marilyn right there. Sophia Loren, can't miss that. And then there's Jane Mansfield. I wish I could miss it. I never liked her. And that chick made it as a pinup girl. Whew. They got some scar pad standards there. Let's see. All right. Do you remember New Record Smell from the 80s? A new album. I got a new album last year, but it didn't smell the same. You know, I think you're right. You know, tapes used to have a smell too when they came out. I remember buying tapes and they would have a brand new kind of funky smell. Let's see. It's a fact that all girls look like they listen to vinyl. Look like that when they listen to vinyl. That is true. My wife was sitting right here on the floor while we were listening to this album, and I was looking at the cover and I was looking at her and I was like, this is amazing. Also have extra songs on them. Yeah. So the Japanese albums, they'll come with a little strip over here and it'll say, of course, that's in Japanese because the album art is usually exactly the same. So it'll have the same tracks listed. It won't have any variants. And then I'll have a little strip here that's in Japanese that explains to the Japanese customer what's on there. And if there's extra tracks, it'll be put on there. Woohoo, Hot Chicks and Vinyl. Yeah, the Jackson Roy Kirk. And any port in the storm. That's right. So get this. So for this vinyl, first of all, I'll show you because it's absolutely gorgeous. This was on my Instagram as well. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that pink. Isn't that great? I love that color. And it has a little bit of, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you see a couple of old dark spots on there, a little swirl to it. Very nice. Very happy with this one. I think it looks great on the player. So Doris Day as a pinup girl, I'm not feeling it. April Stevens, Josephine Baker, that's definite. Debbie Reynolds, ugh. Ginger Rogers, yes. Connie Stevens, okay. Betty Hutton, had to look her up. Julie London, yeah. Francois, or I would say Francois Hardy. How was that girl? Not bad. Marilyn Monroe, of course. Mae West. Again, Sophia Loren again. Peggy Lee. Okay, if you like that type. Betty Hutton. But then number 5 on side B, we have Angela Lansbury as a pinup. That's right. Murder, She Wrote herself was considered a pinup girl enough for this. So what can you do? Mitzi Gaynor, Connie Stevens, Elizabeth Scott, Jane Mansfield again, and Judy Holliday. So there you go. Good stuff. Old Angela Lansbury. If any of you fellas out there have a pinup of Angela Lansbury in your locker as a kid, I want to see it. Bring that out. We'll get you on the show. Don't you worry. We got this. Oh, man. Look at that pink. I'm sure. Always a little, yeah, at the end, right, with the knuckle. Isn't that what they say? Record remastered with, oh, good Lord. All right, that made it on the stream. Congratulations, Scarpay. So there you go. Fantastic stuff. This album was great. You have to kind of be in the mood to listen to some older stuff, but I get in that mood often, so very cool. So those are the records I picked up off New Record Store Day, or Record Store Day, that were exclusives. Of course, the Black Keys I just picked up because I knew they had it. So I ran out and got it, and I got their last copy. So I was very pleased with that. But the other two were exclusives. Those are the only exclusives I got. They had lots of them. They had a Tom Petty exclusive I almost bid on. But, you know, when they're doing like found recordings and all this kind of stuff, I kind of check out because I appreciate the production value that goes into a well-produced record. I don't like it when it's straight a producer's record. Generally, I want the band to have good jam band qualities. But if I can get a well-produced record, that always sounds better than just some half-finished crappy tapes, in my opinion. Look, he'd be Angela's hero. Oh, what a nice fella. He's going to take up for her. So this particular record store, Great Escape, they did a promotion where each person that came in could pick out 5 records for free out of their dollar records. So they have dollar bins, just like comics. So dollar bins of records, and you can pick up 5 free records out of those for each person that walked in. No purchase necessary. But I still bought some stuff. And then, of course, my son was in there, and he picked out a bunch of 45s, Beatles 45s that he was wanting. So that was awesome for him. He stocked up. He got like 6 45s. He was real happy about that. So that worked out well for him. But then on the flip side, he wasn't using his free records. So old Bubsy snagged himself 10 free records for the day. So let's take a look at these. First, we've got Believe in Music, 22 original hits by the original stars. And let me tell you, that's important, the original stars, because a lot of times they're not, there'll be like some other orchestra or band doing them, you know, a cappella style and all kinds of other crap. Yeah, he picked a bunch of Beatles 45s. 45s are a pain in the ass. Yeah, but when you're starting out a record collection, they're fun because you can kind of play DJ. You get to know your record. You get to practice dropping the needle on it. You know, it's interactive. So K-Tel, very nice. Yes, K-Tel Records. So that's a record production company right there. That's what that symbol is. Good Eye. Who said that? Jackson Roy Kirk. Yes, you guys are awesome, man. You guys are all over this. I'm impressed. All right, so this is a funny one. Let's see. I think every record store uses those same orange tags in the dollar vinyls. Yeah, for real. I think they come with them, and you just have to attach them when the time comes. So this one's got side 1. Looking Glass, Brandy, You're a Fine Girl, right? So I guess I should say the name first. So Brandy, You're a Fine Girl from Looking Glass. That made popular these days by the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Beautiful Sunday by Daniel Boone. Sunny Days by Lighthouse. How Do You Do by Moth and McNeil. Long Cool Woman by the Hollies. I love that one. In a Red Dress. Go Away Little Girl by Donny Osmond. My wife was so excited because she was a big Donny Osmond fan when she was a kid. So she was excited about that. Backstabbers. I love that by the OJs. You know, they lie to your face. Good stuff. Go All the Way by the Raspberries. Another song that was big from Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. Fly Pretty Baby by Andy and David Williams. Maggie May by Rod Stewart. Good stuff. Sealed with a Kiss by Bobby Vinton. On side 2, we have Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves by Cher. Sylvia's Mother by Dr. Hook. Sylvia's Mother Says. Sweet and Innocent by Donny Osmond. So you got a double shot of Donny. So my wife was happy about that. Hold Your Head Up by Argent, which is basically just a marching sound, right? Let It Rain by Eric Clapton. Mama, We're All Crazy Now by Slade. No by Bulldog. Money Back Guarantee by Five Man Electrical Band. Speak to the Sky by Rick Springfield. Down by the River by Albert Hammond. And I Believe in Music by Gallery. So, which is the title of the record. So, look, he says, let's see. You got, yep. All right. Where are we? There we go. The hardcore is very 7-inch friendly. Okay. Fair enough. And let's see. You got classic K-Tel. Did you get any stones? Nope, didn't get any stones in this one. Which I did show that I picked up this new Stones album with the clear vinyl inside. So very nice. So I did get some stones today. I wish I had got more, but I was happy to get that. You're impressed. Nothing special. I'm an old live through those K-Tel records. Yeah. And let's see. K-Tel records always skipped. So what's funny is that my wife was super excited about the first Donny Osmond song and the Cher song, and the Cher song skips. And I'm like, oh, man, that sucks. And the Dr. Hook song skips a little bit too. So that happens. What's ELO's most famous songs? Probably Turn to Stone and Mr. Blue Sky. Probably their 2 most favorite songs. Hey, Geek Aficionados in the house. We're showing vinyl today, Geek. Glad you could make it. There you go. All right. So that's this one. That was a huge hit. I had a big time playing that record, man. It was fun. So going back into the days of promotional records, we've got people saying hi to Jimmy over there. Good to hey, I played some Jimi Hendrix before I started the stream. So there, I'll say I was thinking of you, but I wasn't. But that's okay. Here we have Firestone, right? The tire brand with the 5-star Fiesta, 5 all-time greats on one album from Capitol and Custom Records. And so there you go. So I picked this one up for on the free as well. Yeah, Telephone Line, Living Thing. Those are 2 good ones too. Telephone Line for sure. That's probably their second best or second most famous song after Blue Sky, Mr. Blue Sky. All right. So then we've got side 1, Riders in the Sky, but by K-Star. I've never heard that rendition. Blue Gardenia by Nat King Cole. Autumn Leaves by Jackie Gleason. That's right. You heard right. To the Moon. Memories Are Made of This by Dean Martin. Now Is the Hour by Guy Lombardo. K-Star makes another return with Side by Side. Nat King Cole returns as well with Mona Lisa. That's classic. Fantastic. The whole thing's worth it for that song right there. Jackie Gleason returns again with Love Letters. Dean Martin with Return to Me. And Guy Lombardo makes the final track with Love Is Here to Stay. So good stuff. Of course, these are not colored vinyls other than the standard black. And in some cases, you don't even get the inner sleeve, which is probably a good thing. So they get pretty rough. So this next album, I was really, yeah. Jackie has his own orchestra for years. Yes, those are Jackie Gleason doesn't sing on those tracks. They are instrumental. And they're pretty good. The Smurfs were popular on KTEL. That's good. Wait, was there a band of the Smurfs, or were we talking about the little blue guys? You have to give us some more information on that. Gleason was huge, no pun, as an orchestra leader. Though they're really good. They're really well-made songs on there. A lot of good clarinet work being done on that. So you got a Smurf album. This next album, I can't tell you how excited I was to get this. This was actually an album that I didn't know if it was going to be a Grail album, because I know that I can find it if I wanted to on eBay and stuff like that. But these are kind of fun to pick through and pick out. If it's a new album, I'll buy it online. But if it's a used album that's already been opened, I'm much more likely to try and buy it in person. So, but this one is The Sting featuring Scott Joplin, performed by Marvin Hamlish. So if you guys like this movie, if you know this movie, The Sting, it was a Robert Redford and Paul Newman movie. It actually takes place after Ragtime. So the music actually doesn't fit the movie, but it fits the movie in a stylistic sense. And if you consider the idea that some of them are a little bit older, it still would be music that would be around and everyone would be very familiar with. But truly, this ragtime type music would have predated the era depicted in the movie, if that's something you care about. For me, I just love the music and I love the movie, and it goes perfect. And this one just has it all. Of course, it has all the parts of the movie. That one of the things they did in this movie was there was no talking over. Look at this. There you go. Just watched The Sting on 4K the other night. I watched it on upscaled. I watched it on Blu-ray upscaled to 4K, if that helps. Anyway, I got a steelbook of it. So what they did during the movie was when they played these musical interludes during the movie, they did not speak over them. There was no dialogue. So they're almost like little mini music videos that pop up anytime this music is played. There's no dialogue, that they never speak over the music. So it really has a strong presence. And so when you're listening to a soundtrack like that, you're able to hear, like I was watching the movie over in my head every time another track came on. So big deal to get this. They actually had two, and I was able to select the best one. And I was willing to swap discs very much to get the best sleeve or the best, cover and the best disc, and ended up being that the best disc came with the best cover, which is normal. So I was very happy about that. So super pleased with that. And if that didn't scratch your Scott Joplin itch, Piano Rags by Scott Joplin ought to do it. This is the only album here that I don't think I've played yet, because I got so many. I couldn't play them all in 2 days. But there you go. Piano Rags by Scott Joplin as well. Volume 2. So I'm sure Volume 1 has got to be a real gas too. All right. Now check this next one out. Let's see what we got here. Gigot. I don't know that one. His favorite Gleason movie. Don't know that one. Chaos and Comics says, found a bunch of James Bond soundtracks for $1. And I remember thinking, well, I guess I collect James Bond soundtracks now. Hey, if you ever don't want those, you know where to send them, because I trust your vinyl hunting skills. And if you say it's a good disc and it's going to play well, you can send it old BUB'S' way. I won't be mad at you. Love the Bond soundtrack, especially Barry Allen was the best of the Bond composers. Absolutely. Good stuff. I think it's funny because it's not one of the most popular movies, but On Her Majesty's Secret Service has a very, very good orchestrated soundtrack. Look, don't say scratch when discussing vinyl. Fair enough. I'll keep it. I'll keep it. Howdy, bub. You're up late. I am, Slides. Good to see you. Glad you can make it as swell. Surfers. Can you say that? The Surfaris? Safaris? Probably. It's probably the Safaris. Original hit versions of Wipeout and Surfer Joe, and other popular selections by other instrumental groups. This thing, I couldn't believe it. Barry Allen was the Flash. That is a true story. Like right for the Natural. Oh yeah. So I guess it was probably 2 years ago. My dad had either a birthday or Father's Day. I forget which one, but I had bought him a Bluetooth speaker that was in the shape of a baseball. He's a big baseball fan. and I took one of those TF cards, little cards that you can put music on, and I put the Natural theme on loop. So I put like 10 copies of the Natural theme on there. And whenever you turn the Bluetooth speaker on, it defaults to the card and it plays the theme to the Natural. And it's just the sound of the speaker was phenomenal, and the music played perfectly. And he has a collection. He has a baseball collection. He's a collector as well of other things. And he has a baseball collection, signed balls, signed memorabilia, photos, and all kinds of other stuff, and bobbleheads and collectible memorabilia that he's picked up. Big Yankees fan. And so he puts that in there, and it just plays the Natural theme music in his collection room. It's absolutely amazing. So good stuff. Yeah, Rangers up late too. Yeah, good group of people here. The Safaris album is actually sort of cool. What do you mean actually sort of cool, man? I gave no money for this, and I was really pleased. And no skips. Let's see. Oh, boy. All right, Dot Records, this one's. So get this one. It's got Wipeout, of course, right? So Wipeout. It's got Wiggle Wobble, Torquay, or Torquay? I don't know. You Can't Sit Down. I was real happy to get Green Onions, ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. Yeah. It's not the most famous. It's not Booker T and the MGs, I think, did Green Onions, and that's probably the most famous version of it. That's not this one, but it's still pretty good. And Tequila, another one. This is not the famous version that you hear all the time, or that was in, Pee Wee Herman's Adventure or whatever, but it's a pretty good rendition of it. And then on side 2, you got Wild Weekend, Teen Beat, yep. And funny because the whole thing just says, yep, pretty much all the way through. Memphis, and of course, Surfer Joe, also by the Safaris, and Walk, Don't Run. So pretty fun album. My wife loved listening to this. She was just digging it, man, and it was really good. It's always fun. If I can find some music she likes, I can get her up, I can get her dancing, and then that's, Bubsy gets a free show. So we're always happy with that. Let's see. Where are we going? Okay. Sorry to hear that, Ranger. Yeah, it stinks. I had signed balls, but it washed off. You got to use that permanent marker, buddy. Let's see. Tequila was by the Champs, I'm guessing. Yep, Champs. Solid 50. Yeah. Good stuff. All right, let's see. Solid 50 and 60 tunes. I think so. I was super pleased with it, and there's more to come. That was one of the things that on that I don't know if you saw it, Jimmy, if you caught this one that we had. I don't remember if you were in the thing yet, but no, this isn't it. Where's the one? Oh, yeah. It was on the new record. So one of the hits on here by Sophia Loren was no. Was it? Yeah, I think it was by Sophia Loren, was Zooby Zooby Zoo. So, yeah, Zooby Zooby Zoo. So, if you watch the show Mad Men, and I won't go real deep into it, but Megan Draper sings a song for Don Draper. Who the character is, doesn't matter. But she sang this song, and it kind of became an instant hit with people who had never heard it before. But this song was really old. And Sophia Loren, of course, does a magnificent job of it. And it's kind of a French nonsense song, but really fun and cute and fun to watch someone dance to. So, did Rockstar have CDs and long boxes? Those can be worth money. They did have CDs. I don't know about long boxes, but they had. Oh, are you talking about the ones that have like a cardboard box like that, and then the CDs in that? I don't know. They have a lot of stuff though. They definitely had CDs. So I like some of my orchestra music. So here's some Count Basie, and this is my second Count Basie album. So I'm very pleased to have this. I have to say though, I listened to it, and my original or my first Count Basie album was much better than this one. But this one wasn't bad, and so I'm pleased to have it. Very pleased completely to have this. So very good. We could go through the songs, but they kind of it's just him playing or him orchestrating. So 1 O'Clock Jump, Basie's Conversation, Basie Boogie, I Cried for You. And then George Wallington plays, so it has a flip sides. Blues, Frankie and Johnny, Jordan, Blues in the Moonlight, and I can't pronounce that. So there you go. Good stuff. In the 90s. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. George Martin. the Beatles produced via Loren version, and it's fantastic. It's so good. It's perfect. It's perfect. Some people were meant to sing certain songs, and that one really, really just kicks it in there. Long box CDs are money. I have all the original Beatles long box releases, not sealed, but I have the boxes. So what's funny about this particular record store and other stuff that they do is that they don't necessarily, they're eBay pricers. I mean, there's no bones about it. And I'm not trying to say that in a bad way, but they know the value of their stuff. I have never walked in and stolen anything and walked out like, oh my God, they didn't know what they had. These guys know exactly what they have. They sell on eBay as well. They have an eBay outlet for some of their stuff. But nicely, they have the stuff also in the store. So if it's for sale on eBay, if it sells on eBay, they take it off the store, of course. But it's not like a back room. That pisses me off. I like it as long as if you're going to sell stuff in other media, Facebook, eBay, Instagram, I don't care. But at least have it available for the people who come in, who make the journey to your shop to buy something. Leave it out there first. And if somebody buys it, fine. Pluck it off the rack and sell it. But I hate it when shops take stuff and put it in a back room and say, no, these are eBay stuff for eBay sales. And only after nobody buys it do they put it out in the store for the same price. So so I'm not keen on that. Thank you, Sly. That's very kind of you. Everybody has different tastes. So all you're really saying is that our tastes may align on this, and I'll take that as a compliment. Where'd you go? Great Escape. Yes, Great Escape, Bowling Green, Kentucky is where I went. But as you know, you go to Nashville sometimes, I know. So there's one in Nashville as well, but they're affiliated. And there's another one in Louisville. And I can't remember where the other one is. I think it's West Virginia or something like that. Could be South Carolina. I don't know. But it's around. Next, we got Swingin' Hi-Fi in Studio A by George Ciravo and his orchestra. This was a really fun album. So this has got That Old Black Magic and Tangerine, The Moon is Low, Two Sleepy People, which is probably, we got about 10 sleepy people tonight. Let's see, Blue Moon, Ragtime Mambo, which was a lot of fun. That was a good one. Let's Do It. It's Easy to Remember, Symphony Rock, To Each His Own, Easy Going, and Lover. Fantastic stuff. Nice little RCA. I like picking up RCA Victor Records because I have the Victrola. Even though Victrola is not obviously owned by Victor Records or RCA anymore, they sold out, and I'm sure they're made in Japan or something like that. But it's nice to have the little Victor stuff next to the Victrola. So that I get a kick out of that. Metal CD boxes. Now we're talking about CDs again. Get off it. All right, good stuff. No, he says, no, not sleepy. That's why I came here. Fair enough. Good to have you. So now the next 4 albums are in compilation. So you guys, I don't know if you're into this, but if you like Count Basie, you probably would like this. But I've always been a big fan of Glenn Miller. So here is a complete Glenn Miller, Volume 7. That's right. You heard it here, folks. Volume 7 of Glenn Miller's fantastic. Was it Air Force or Army? I forget which one he was. I'm sure somebody could jump in and tell me. But look at all this great history you get in these volumes. Look at that. So, I hear often, as I'm sure any of you who collect vinyl do, why? Why do you get vinyl when I can put up anything on my Spotify and all this other stuff? Why would you do that? And I'm like, well, the reason you would do that is because you don't get this on an MP3 streaming. You get what they think you want. Even if you search for it, you're going to get a single track. Even if you pull up an album, you're not going to get this produced album, which to me means something. The track order, the cadence of the music, the way that they arrange each track has a flow to it. Certain albums do it better than others, but it's nice to listen to it the way it was intended to be heard, in my opinion. So that's nice. And this has 2 albums, so it's a double LP set. And, nice little Glenn Miller set there to go along with my other Glenn Miller albums. So I can't turn it down. Good stuff. And then here's another Glenn Miller and his orchestra. This one's from 20th Century Fox. And this has a double LP set as well. Look at this. Isn't that cool? That's fantastic. So very cool stuff. Trombonist. I played trombone when I was a kid. You know, I guess trying to be a little Glenn Miller. I didn't necessarily give it up. I actually played in the Bronx Borough-wide band when I was a kid, and we did our little concerts and things. I don't think I could play it today without relearning the whole thing. And when I was a kid, I didn't really learn to read music. I played by ear, so it took me a little longer to learn a song. But when I did, I was eligible for soloist material because you could stand when you play the trombone. It's very hard to read music at the same time because a lot of motion involved, especially when you're in a band. So I had to stand up and play and do a routine. So I was lucky enough to be called as a soloist sometimes because I could play by ear. So fun stuff. Put together a mixed CD and put together an LP, two distinct halves. That's true. That's very true. Hey, Kennethberg, good to have you. Nice picture. That was very cool. Dark Side of the Moon flows the best. Yes. Dark Side of the Moon is fantastic. I tell you another thing. So he brings up Dark Side of the Moon. And this is just another thing. If you guys want to defend yourselves, sound is totally different. I agree. If you want to defend yourself against those who want to hate on vinyl, one of the nice things is gapless playback. When you play Dark Side of the Moon, there are certain songs that transition from one to the other seamlessly. Okay. Now, technically, they're different tracks, but when you're listening to it, it flows together. Many of the songs do that. And when you listen to MP3 player, depending on your streaming service, whatever, there'll often be a gap in between the two songs, and it'll pause for a second. You will hear nothing, and then the next song starts. But when you have a vinyl, it's totally gapless. It plays smooth and beautifully from one song to another. That's another reason why one of my Grail albums is El Dorado and Time by ELO, because they also have that same effect where it plays through in an orchestral tone that never stops. So anyway, there's another thing you can tell to people when they say, why vinyl? You say, well, because I can have gapless playback on an album like Dark Side of the Moon. So, all right. So what else we got? Let's see. BUB'S stores were all set up to display vinyl, and the seated long boxes makes sense to me. I remember them standing up. They're about as tall as, but they were. I remember them being half this size, though. You'll have to help me if that's not the case. But I remember them being half that size. Yep, starts and ends that way too. Absolutely. Love lounge music, but didn't know about George Saravo. Listening to it now on YouTube in the background. Nice. I appreciate that. Glad you can enjoy that. All right, same height. Okay, so they were the same height, and I think they were roughly half the size, if I recall. Boy, I remember those as a kid, but I don't think I ever owned any. My dad might have had one or two, but my dad was one of those that he switched everything. Like he would do vinyl, and then once he found CDs, it was, I hate vinyl. Everything was CDs. He does the same thing. He had VHS tape collection. Then, DVDs came out. I hate VHS. I hate all that crap. Then, Blu-rays came out. I hate DVDs. Get rid of that. Then streaming service came out. He's like, I hate everything. Get it all. I want all digital. He's always chasing that next better level of stuff. So, to each his own. Leaves more stuff for me to find in the bins. So last and probably least, we've got the greatest hits of Rachmaninoff. Is it Debussy or Debussy? I was never quite sure. Ravel and Tchaikovsky. So it's up to you. But I'm one of those value type guys, and I didn't have. Now my parents have a lot of classical music. Some good. My grandfather was a pianist and a composer, and my father plays piano as well. And so there was always tons of classical music around the house and a lot of records. But I didn't have any in my collection. So I was like, you know what? For the big price of free, I can walk away with this is a 4-record set in a slipcase. So that's pretty cool. And then they all just pop out of there. So very neat. I listened to some of it. Not my favorite. I'm more of a Baroque. Look, Debussy. Thank you. DeBusy is what I'm going for. If I still said it wrong, I don't think I can fix it. So DeBusy. Let's see what Jackson Roy Kirk saying. Now you can, and I do, make gapless playback CDs. Yes, that's been around for a long time. I used to make gapless playback CDs as well. Of course, you're talking about making a physical thing instead of streaming and pulling from your computer. Right. So again, you have to play something. And of course, the original CD players, the original CDs that came out for these albums and things, they were also usually gapless. And there used to be a setting that you could choose. I remember having a Discman that you could set to be gapless, and it would skip a little, but it wasn't perfect. It was like 2-second gap. You could select 2 seconds to delete, and it would think ahead 2 seconds and play that. But you know, you do what you can when vinyl is so much fun. Of course, you can't put a vinyl record in a car, but what is nice is that that record, that Victrola USB Pro 2000, the USB stands for USB transfer. So it has a port in the back that you can plug into your computer and record a single track of the entire album or each side, which is what I would do, side one, side two, and record a single track. So a straight playthrough of each side, you record to a single track, perfect gapless, and you can put it on your MP3 player and take it with you in the car and still get a couple of those little pops and cracks, which if you got a clean record, you really won't have. So, all right. Yep. Nights. You can plop 2 rows of long boxes in the same space. All right. We're still talking about CDs. Wizard of Oz 2001 to Dark Side of the Moon. Yep. I remember that. You had to pause it or start playing at a certain time. Doesn't always match up though. I always go for Baroque. Do I have to make the sound? Ba-doom-tsh. I guess I do. Depends on the car. Saying whether you can play records in the car. Yeah, I believe that. I missed Winamp. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? I missed that too. That was the first little thing that had like a visualizer for the music too, digital visualizers. I like that. And the skins were awesome. Yeah, you guys are, yeah. Now we're talking. Hell, let's go all the way back to Napster. I think just saying that might get me banned on YouTube. Anyway, so that's my haul. That's my record store day haul. We'll go back through them in reverse order. So there's Rachmaninoff, Debussy, thank you again, Ravel, and Tchaikovsky. And then we got some Glenn Miller hits, of course, made famous of In the Mood and Chattanooga Choo Choo and all that, and The Girl from Kalamazoo and Her Angry Husband. We know about those fellas. Some more Glenn Miller. These were the free ones. Swinging Hi-Fi in Studio A, fun stuff. Count Basie. If you ever get a chance to listen to Frank Sinatra and Count Basie's collaborations, I think that's some of the finest music you can ever treat your ears to. Las Cruces, hello, and happy to see you. Those were even. Are there even? No, I searched for them. You can't hardly find them. The Safaris and some Wipeout and Surfer Joe and some additional hits. We got some ragtime music by the master, Scott Joplin, one of the earliest African-American players, popular players of music in his day. So one of the first ones to cross over multiple, divides, if you will. The Sting, more Scott Joplin, fantastic. This was the win of the day, truly. 5-Star Fiesta brought to you by Firestone, your home for tires. Good stuff there with some Jackie Gleason Orchestra making an appearance. Believe in Music with some fantastic 60s hits. Actually, this is from 1972, but it incorporated a lot of 60s music. Fantastic stuff. Then we got the Record Store Day exclusives. We got the Rolling Stones, Bigger Bang Live. Good stuff with the clear vinyl there. We got Pinup Girls, my favorite cover of all of them that I selected, that I found. Fantastic stuff, front and back, and a pink vinyl to boot. Beauty. And that one there, another exclusive for Record Store Day. And I picked this one up because I just needed it in my collection. The Black Keys with Delta Cream, exclusive, colored vinyl, clear with black splatter. So there you go. That's been an hour with Bub's Comics talking about some albums. Thank you, everybody that came in and joined us. We got all the guys to the chat. You guys are fantastic. And everybody watching on the replay, I want to thank you all. And we'll catch you next time on Bub's Comics for maybe Record Store Day in July. We'll do a little bit of that again. And you guys are all welcome to come back and see what all the crap I picked up. All right. Catch you next time. Thank you all. And remember to listen to vinyl. And don't apologize for the glare. Yeah, that's it. All right. Bye-bye.